Let me ask you a question. Have you ever thought, oh, I would love to do that, but I just don't have the money? Or, man, we love to do that, but we just don't have the money. Have you ever thought, wow, I know I need to start exercising, but I just don't have the time. Or, I'd really like to start a side business, but I don't have the time. Or, man, I just wish I could learn this. Or maybe you wish you could improve your golf game, but I don't have the time. I don't have the skill sets. Have you ever thought, man, I'd love to have my own business, but I'm not a good salesman. I don't know how to do the internet. I don't know how to do the marketing. What you're really saying is either I don't have the time, I don't have the talents, or I don't have the resources. Welcome to my world, okay? Welcome to everybody's world. Nobody has the needed time, talent, or money to achieve anything extraordinary, at least at the beginning. Bill Gates didn't start out with family money. He didn't start out as, we've got everything we need. He didn't really think about it. Instead, he saw a possibility. He saw a potential, and he went for it. But he didn't go for it by himself. He effectively partnered. That's going to be our next strategy that we're going to look at. Not in this session, but we're going to look at that in the next session. But most people don't achieve their dreams, and even more people don't even pursue their dreams because they don't have the time, they don't have the talent, they don't have the money. I didn't get a PhD in college. I didn't even get an MBA. All I got was a bachelor's degree. A bachelor's degree is a dime a dozen these days. It was even almost a dime a dozen when I graduated from college. And I certainly didn't feel super qualified to do anything. In fact, I got my business degree in marketing, and I remember thinking, okay, I'm going to go out and do marketing and advertising. And so I looked in the Phoenix newspaper, that's where I lived, and I saw one company advertising for somebody in their marketing department. So I showed up. It was a national company. In fact, I'll tell you who it was. It was the company that owns U-Haul, all the U-Haul trailers and stuff. And I went in for an interview, and I interviewed with a person in their HR department. And she said, well, you just graduated a few months ago. I said, yeah, but I graduated in marketing. She says, yeah, but you don't have any marketing experience. And I said, I know. And she said, well, we're not interested in hiring anybody without marketing experience. And I said, well, how am I supposed to get experience if nobody hires somebody without experience? She said, that's not my problem. That's your problem. End of interview, right? Not real encouraging. And I just really didn't have the talent. I didn't have any money to start my own business. I didn't have the skill sets anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. We all lack time, talent, or money. And some of us at times lack it all. And we just don't think we can get ahead. In fact, most people, did you know most people graduating from college today, the vast majority, 80%, do not get a job in the field they graduated in. In fact, 52% end up doing something completely different than the field. Do you know, I think it's almost 80% of college graduates end up in sales as their first job out of college, and they've had no sales training, no sales education. How do you think that's going to go? Okay. My nephew teaches an incredible sales curriculum. In fact, his college that he created this sales curriculum for, They win the national contests or the regional contests every year because he really trains people how to become effective salespeople. And he says, you know, it's almost not fair. My average graduate has a starting salary of $83,500 a year with just a basic BS, bachelor's degree. And he says, but that's more than engineers make in starting salary. That's more than financial people make in starting salary. That's more than attorneys make in starting salary. That's more than doctors make in starting salaries, okay? A lot. I mean, I have a son that's in his 5th year of a surgical residency, but he got his MD 4 years ago. And guess what? He's not making as much as, by a long shot, as my nephew's graduates from his sales program, okay? If you can be a good salesman, you can make a lot of money. In fact, IBM always recruits from his college. In fact, they started one kid out at $150,000 a year, and all he had was a basic degree. But they knew he would be a super salesman. You know what happened to him? First year, he goes to this big banquet where they honor the 5 top salesmen in IBM, and they're all over 60 years old. He looks at somebody and says, I'm going to be on that stage next year. He was 22, but he had been properly and effectively trained. He shot for the moon, and guess what? The next year, he was on that stage as one of the 5 top IBM salespeople. So, no time, no talent, no money, guess what? No problem. Why? Because we're going to show you how to effectively partner. You'll partner with some people that have the right talents, other people that have time, other people that have money. And when you can resolve your lack of those resources, it changes everything. So as we go through this program and you think, well, that's not me, I don't have the time, talent, or money, guess what? Nobody does. I met a young man one time in a show I was producing, and turned out his uncle was somebody that I had read their life story. He says, yeah. I said, you know, your name is Lear. Are you related to Bill Lear? Yeah, he's my uncle. And Bill Lear, you know how far he got in school? He quit school in 6th grade. It's a good thing he did. You know why? Because if he'd gone on to high school and taken physics, he would have found out that it was impossible, physically impossible, to build a radio smaller than about this big, right here, okay? Guess what Bill Lear invented? The car radio, and it's not that big. He didn't take his high school physics course, so he didn't realize that that was impossible. Guess what else he invented? The Learjet, the first private commercial jet meant for corporations, not airliners or the government. That was Bill Lear with a 6th grade education. Do you think he learned how to get around his lack of time, lack of talent? He wasn't an engineer. Guess what else he gave us? This came in handy. Before World War II, he created the first autopilot. My dad flew the longest missions of World War II, among the longest missions, 16.5-hour missions in a bomber. And man, if they didn't have autopilot, I'd hate to think of what he had to do. Thank you, Bill Lear, the 6th grade dropout, who wasn't an engineer, wasn't an aerospace engineer, and yet look what he gave us. Don't limit yourself. Your lack of time, lack of resources, lack of know-how will not keep you from achieving extraordinary outcomes and impossible dreams when you learn the next strategy that we're going to look at.